Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today I wanted to tell you a little bit about my new Gerber Centerdrive multi-tool. I have had a couple of multi-tools in the past and kind of never had good luck with them. I haven't really loved them, and a lot of them were really cheap, so I decided to go with a little bit more pricey one this time. This is about $150, so I'm going to walk you through this thing. I'm going to show you why I decided to upgrade to this thing and why I think it's a great multi-tool, especially if you're an overlander or a camper like me, because of the types and variety of tools that this thing has. If you're looking for kind of an all-in-one that's really small footprint that you can store in your center console or something like that in the event that you might need it, this may be a good option for you. So let's get into the Gerber Centerdrive Plus.
Where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
Alright guys, so as I mentioned in the intro today, I'm talking about the Gerber Centerdrive Plus. This is a really cool little multi-tool, and I'm going to kind of walk you through everything that is included in this multi-tool and why it may be a good option for you. But let's start with a couple of just facts about Gerber and why I really like Gerber stuff. I've got a Gerber bushcraft axe that I really love. I've got the Gerber strong arm camp knife that's a really solid around camp sort of chore-based knife, good for all kinds of different tasks. And then now I've got this Gerber Centerdrive Plus. Now again, my history has been I've had a number of multi-tools, a lot of them like cheap Chinese ones that like my wife got me in as a stocking stuffer or something one year that I've kept in the truck, and when I needed it, it was just not great, right? Like the tools just don't work that well. It's not very well made. The screwdrivers tend to strip, like the screwdriver heads tend to strip and stuff. So that's one of the things that I really like about Gerber is they're made in the USA. So that is definitely a pro. And they also come with a limited lifetime warranty. So again, if you had any problems down the road, they're either going to fix it or replace it. So when you buy one of these, is it more expensive than a lot of the other options, maybe the Chinese options and things like that? Yes. But is it made in the USA? Yes. And do you have a lifetime warranty on those other products? Probably not, right? So that is just a couple of the facts that I wanted to start out with on Gerber in general, just why I've started to kind of move towards Gerber stuff in general. All right, so next let's talk about some basics, right? Let's talk about dimensions. So the height of this thing when it's closed like this is 4.7 inches. When you get the tool out, and you open it all the way, it's about 6.6 inches long. So just to get the dimensions out of the way from the get-go, that's how big it is. All right, so next I kind of want to give you my sort of initial impressions, right? Like how does it just kind of work as a tool? I've used it for a couple little around the house projects and stuff just to kind of test it out. One thing that I will say is that I am really impressed with like the action, the spring-loaded action of the pliers themselves. A lot of these feel really junky, or they don't even have a spring-loaded action. They're just, you kind of have to squeeze them and then pull them apart, at least the cheesy, crappy kind of ones that I've had in the past. The look of this thing is just really good, right? Like it's a really sharp-looking multi-tool. I like how it's kind of got the triangles in it and stuff. It's just a good-looking multi-tool, but it does function really nice. I like the pliers and how they feel. I'm going to walk you through all the bits and pieces and all the things that are on this thing here in just a second. But again, just initial thoughts, really well constructed. Heavy in a good way, right? Like feels well made, well constructed, feels like something that's going to last for a long time. And again, it should because it has a lifetime warranty. But so let's now dive into all the different multi-tools that are on this, because that's probably why you're here, right? Is if you're like, okay, cool, Gerber, I like Gerber stuff. I want to know what's in it. Is it a good fit for my setup, right? And as I walk you through these things too, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about why I think it's a good setup for like a camper / overlander, and why I decided to change to this from like some of the crappy ones that I've had before. All right, so one thing that I do like about it is that they've got what's called the one thumb opening mechanism. But so, you know, a lot of times you have to sort of hold a lock or unlock thing to open it. In this case, because of this little button on the side here, you literally just put your thumb on the middle of it and you slide it up, and then that's your pliers. So again, you can open this thing one-handed, which if you're in the middle of doing a job or something and you need to get this out, you don't really want to mess with having to use two hands to open it. So it is really nice and easy to get open, which I like. Another thing to point out in these pliers themselves, which I really like, is so you've got sort of needle nose end pieces there. So for fine things that you need to grab, that helps. Then you've got these sort of stepped teeth in the middle. So if you kind of had to grab like a bolt head or something like that, that would work for that. But then here at the inside, these are actually wire strippers, and they're replaceable, which I like. So there is actually a bolt that comes off of these pieces in here, so that if you wanted to replace those, if they ever got super dull and you needed to replace them, they do look like they are replaceable. So I like that quite a bit. Again, I would probably not be doing wiring on the trail unless something happened, but to be able to do it if I needed to, I do not carry wire strippers with me either. I've got several sets at home that I use when I'm wiring up lights and things like that, but if I'm on the trail and something, a light goes out and I need to, a wire gets torn or something and I need to restrip it and rewire up a light, then I've got wire strippers in this multi-tool that I can easily get to and could do an emergency fix type job like that for me. So then another feature that it has is it does have a built-in measuring tape. I will say this is one of my features that I'm kind of a little hesitant on, and I don't know that I will really get a ton of use out of it because, as you can probably see here, they're kind of buried in there. So the measuring tapes are like right there and there, but they're inside of this thing, and as far as I can tell, there's no way to get those things out. So you kind of have to set this thing down like this to measure it. So you'd have to have kind of a flat surface or some way to, you kind of have to hold the whole tool up. Now again, you're probably not going to be building a house using this tool or anything like that. So if you just kind of need to get close to 1 inch or 2 inches or 3 inches, this will get you up to 3 inches using this measuring tape in here. But that's about it, and it's a little bit tricky to use that function of it. So just FYI, that's not great, but it's passable, right? Again, if you just needed to kind of get an idea for 1 inch of wire, let's say that you needed to splice something, then you could use this for something like that. So now let's dive into the knife. So this can be opened without opening the pliers too, which I really like. It does have a partially serrated blade and then a smooth blade. So again, if you needed to cut something that you needed the serration for, you've got it, but it gives you a couple options. It's also a pretty good length. The blade of the knife itself is 3¼ inches long. So it is a pretty good length blade. And I find myself using this quite a bit, like around the house to open packages and stuff, or, just if I need quick access to a knife and I've got this thing handy, it's easier than going and finding another knife or something that I've got packed away or in the cab of my truck. This thing's just right there and I've got it, and it makes life easier. So I like that. Now to close it, there is an unlock thing in here. All you got to do is just squeeze that and then it will allow you to close down the knife. So one thing to note is just as you're pulling these tools out on this side with the sort of black little lock button, that's how you unlock the tools to put them back away, which I like because it's really easy to access. But so just kind of starting from the back here, there is a pair of folding spring-loaded scissors, which I like because as you can see, it's really, really small footprint, but then when you open it up, that's what becomes your scissors. So you've got some nice little scissors there. They are very sharp too. So again, if you needed to cut through some fabric or something like that, cut strings off your hat or your shirt, this is a great little tool for that. So a number of uses there. Again, I'm going to pull back on the black lock thing here, and then that's going to allow me to fold it back down. Next on the tool is this little mini pry bar / nail puller / bottle opener. So as you can see, it's got a little slit there where you could use that to pry out nails and things. It does have a good little angle to it, so you could use that to pry things if you needed to. And then of course it's also got this bottle opener on it, so you could use that as a bottle opener as well. So again, just multifaceted, which is nice. Next up is this little awl, AWL. You could use this to punch holes in a belt to make some belt loops, or just a number of things. It's basically just a sharp pointy head. And then the final thing here is actually a really nice little file. So it's got both sides are serrated. This one's kind of cross-hatched. So this side here is sort of cross-hatched, and then the other side is just, it's all straight lines. So you've got a couple of different patterns for filing if you needed to file something. Now moving over to the other side of the tool, I've already shown you the knife that is on the other side. And then right here in the center section is an extra bit holder. So you can actually just kind of keep your favorite bit right there so that if you need it, it's right in the middle. In a lot of cases on a Japanese vehicle like I have, I may need a Phillips head quite a bit for a lot of the stuff that I do. So if I just wanted to keep that in here so that I've always got it right ready to go, you can do that, just have it on hand. Or if you wanted to have a Phillips head and that, you can also leave one head loaded up in the actual screwdriver itself there and then have the extra bit right there. So now I've got a flathead and I've got a Phillips head. So I've got pretty much the two that I'm mainly going to use in there. But the other nice thing is that in the actual carrying case itself, there is a little sort of front pocket here, and that holds a number of additional bits. So you do get a ton of different bits that you can use. And again, the fact that they're carried right here in the carrying case is really, really nice. I will put a link in the description to this thing if you want to go and see all the different bit heads. If you're curious about a specific bit head, I'm not going to bore you by going through every single one of them in this video, but if you want to go and check and see if it has the head type that you need, check that out. And then one of my favorite parts about this multi-tool is the fact that, unlike a lot of them that I've had anyways, where you kind of just have like a very little short, almost nothing little head, and you've got to kind of turn this whole thing, like it's, and your screwdriver bit is just right at the end there, which is how a lot of mine have been. With this, it actually has a full expanding screwdriver. So you can actually get a lot of length, and it's kind of got some bend to it too. So again, you can get it away from the tool, and when you're using it, it just makes it way easier to use. And you can also use it independent of the pliers being out. So again, it's nice that you can access it without having to open up the pliers. You can use this as a screwdriver way more easily than a lot of these that I've had before, right? And I like that you can do that. Now, similar to the knife, it does just have this sort of locking arm that pops up. You just push that down and then it will fold back down. So that's how it operates. That is all the stuff that is on this thing. So to wrap this up and kind of tell you why I think this is a good tool for campers and overlanders, again, there are just so many instances that don't happen that often, right? That I can't really warrant going out and buying a tiny pair of scissors to have just in case I've got loose strings or something that I want to cut off. Sure, you could use a knife and stuff. That's what I do a lot of the time. But sometimes it's just handy to have like little fine scissors so that you can get in and do little tasks like that that are harder to do with a knife, or that you risk cutting yourself or something like that, which could result in a much more serious incident that is not going to make your camping trip as fun. Right? If you cut yourself because you're being dumb and trying to cut a string off your shirt or something and you cut your hand versus using a tiny pair of scissors, I think that's better. Again, I don't carry pliers with me. I don't carry a lot of these sort of fine little tools that are on this thing. What I carry are like a socket set, and I've got a general wrench set, like a ratcheting head wrench set. So the big things that if there was a vehicular breakdown or something like that, I've got the tools for that. But for just like the everyday task, for wiring, for, stripping wire, for measuring stuff, for being able to file down something that has like a rough head, to be able to punch a hole in my leather belt if I need to, expand it or contract it, to be able to just do screwdriver stuff, right? Like I don't even carry screwdrivers with me, and I could. I've got a ton of tools at home, but I don't want to mess with carrying a number of different tools with me when I don't have to. So again, I think this is a great, high quality, made in the USA, lifetime warranted piece of equipment that you could just throw in your center console and have. If you ever need something like this, any of these tools that are built into this, you've got something that is workable that you could use to solve that problem and get yourself back home or back off the trail. So again, that's why I switched out to the Gerber Centerdrive Plus. I'm super excited about this thing, even though I probably won't use it all that often, but when I need it, it's going to be really nice to have, versus again, that cheap, crappy Chinese version that I've had before that nothing really worked well on, and when I needed it, it failed me or didn't work very well. So again, hopefully that helps and gives you some info on the Centerdrive Plus. If so, there will be a link in the description down below if you want to go check it out and learn more about it. Like I mentioned, that will also give you literally all the bits that come with it and stuff. So you have really specific questions on that, feel free to post up in the comments down below or check out that link directly. Also in the description down below will be links to all my social channels. So wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. There's also a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. So if you're into that sort of stuff, you want to slap one on your fridge or on your headliner or on your window or something, check those out. They're really reasonably priced and they're super high quality. Also below this video is a join button. That's just kind of a passive way to support the channel, get you some early access to the videos and the weekly podcasts that I do, and some other perks. So again, if you want to say, hey, I enjoy the content, I like it, keep it up, that's a nice way to support the channel and get you some perks along the way. If you want a more active way to be involved and kind of chat, there is the Patreon group, which is linked down below. We have a 24/7 Discord where we all kind of hang out and chat about gear and stuff like that. And we do a once a month Zoom call, and we're also doing 1, maybe 2 trips a year in person to try and meet up. So if you want to be a part of that, check that out. And then last but not least, there's a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group, totally free to join, tons of awesome members. If you're tired of the bullying from the bigger groups, this may be a good place for you, and we'd love to have you. So again, thanks so much for watching. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.